This man only slept 2 extra minutes, but when he woke up, the outside world seemed to have gone crazy. He heard the piercing sound of air raid sirens and watched in shock as a military helicopter crashed directly into the building next door. Before he could understand what was happening, terrifying screams and roars came from the streets below. Confused, he rushed to the window and looked down to see people in town running in panic. His girlfriend was among them. Seemingly terrified by something, he shouted for her to come upstairs, but the next moment, she was knocked down by the crowd. The man was stunned, completely unaware of what was happening to the world. He ran back to his apartment in panic, and just then, a man suddenly burst into his home. It was his neighbor from next door. The neighbor frantically explained that his wife had gone crazy and begged for shelter in the man's apartment. Before the man could respond, the neighbor covered his neck and hurriedly ran into the bathroom. The man became suspicious and grabbed a knife to protect himself. Just then, an emergency news broadcast flashed on the television. Warning of a virus outbreak in the city. The report said that infected people became violent and bloodthirsty, and those who were bitten would turn into emotionless monsters. The neighbor, who had just come out of the bathroom, saw the news and insisted he was fine. But the next second, his eyes began to turn bloodshot and his body started showing abnormal changes. Fortunately, he hadn't completely lost his mind yet. Faced with the man's knife, the neighbor reluctantly left the apartment in terror. The man quickly closed and locked the door. Almost immediately, horrible screams came from outside. Through the peephole in the door, the man saw his neighbor being torn apart by those monsters. Overwhelmed by fear, he collapsed to the floor. Realizing that the outside world was now occupied by these creatures, the man realized his survival depended entirely on himself and preventing those monsters from breaking in. He hurriedly pushed the refrigerator in front of the door and covered the windows with paper to avoid attracting attention. He even moved his bed to the living room so he could keep an eye on the door at all times. But one night, just as he was about to fall asleep, he heard sounds coming from the bathroom. A sense of dread washed over him. He grabbed a baseball bat and carefully approached the bathroom. To his shock, a monster had already crawled in through the ventilation duct.